get back to me with a few replacement suspension components. Now this one is actually used, but it's in good shape, and that's perfectly all right as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to get this all boxed back together, and soon we'll have a rolling car. Offer that up first. We've got an ordinary bolt that goes through on the inner part of the wishbone. Just applying a little bit of copper grease to the bolt just to stop the bolt from seizing in, which means that next time it has to come out, it'll come out nice and easily. Okay, so that's that one started. I'm not going to tighten everything up just yet, so I want to make sure that everything fits in place first. These are male splines. These slot into the female splines in the differential here, and these are what takes all the drive from the gearbox, from the engine and the gearbox and the differential through this drive shaft and out to the wheel at the other end. Now I've got to make sure that this all lines up properly. Right. It's on its way in. I don't want to wreck the boot on this end. Right. That's nicely home. That's all sorted there. That's great. This end will go in to the hub here. You can see the female splines in the hub here. So this end of the shaft will fit into there, and that will take the drive from the engine, gearbox and final drive out through the drive shaft and through to the hub, and therefore turn the wheel. So if we offer that up, that goes in there. A bit of jiggling about, bit of alignment. There's one in. It's the second one. So now we have our lower and upper wishbones in place, and we have a drive shaft in place as well. So what I now need to do is put the upright, the bearing carrier, the hub in place now. Now this is quite unusual in that it kind of acts like a steered front hub, because we've got a ball joint on the top and a ball joint on the bottom, and that's a little bit like a front steered hub. But in this case, we have a track rod here. This actually allows us to set the tracking on the rear wheels in and out, so that that can all be lined up perfectly with the front, so that we have absolutely meticulous road holding. At this point we're putting 1, 2, 3 things all together in one go into this rear hub carrier. Here we have a number of shims, and these help to set up our camber angle. Now the camber angle is actually the amount either this way or that way that the wheel ends up facing. So these shims are absolutely essential, but we won't know exactly how many we're going to need until we track the vehicle up right at the very end, once we've constructed it all. So this is kind of a rough build, and then once we've checked it all out, we can make all the adjustments, get it all right, then it's going to be absolutely perfect. Get my bolts in, a little bit of copper grease on there, because as I said before, we don't want everything seizing up. And hopefully these shims will all stay in place. So first of all, we'll get our hub on, get the bottom ball joint just sitting in there like so. We can offer up this top. Just start it up there. So hopefully now we'll be able to offer up the shaft into the hub. Just slide through there like so. Right, there we are, that's good. Just pop the hub nut on just for now. I'm not tightening anything up just yet. I can then put the lower wishbone ball joint into the bottom of the upright. So now, roughly speaking, we have everything moving up and down together. And it's beginning to become a complete assembly. Again, a little bit of copper grease. Okay, through it goes. Start that roughly in place. And finally, I can fit this last ball joint. Right, there we go. Start that one. So now we have absolutely everything in place. All that needs to be done is everything needs to be tightened up. But as you can see, it all moves up and down together. So once I've just loosely nipped all this up, once we've got the spring in and the damper in, got the wheel on, and we can put the weight of the car onto the suspension, then we can fully tighten the suspension. If we tightened it while it was like this, then it might actually be slightly in conflict and put the suspension out of kilter. The handling wouldn't be right, the suspension wouldn't be right. So we like the weight of the car down first, and then, and only then, we tighten up all of the suspension. And I'll be doing that all the way around the car.